What's up, everybody? Dan here. Thanks so much for joining in for today's video. So I want to take a few minutes and give you my thoughts on Assetto Corsa EVO that is due to be released pretty daggone soon. If there are no delays, so far it's due to be released on January 16th, 2025, which is barely 30 days from now. I mean, we literally will have it in our hands in about a month. Now, it's not being talked about as much currently, but for the week of the Sim Racing Expo and a week or so after, it was hot on the YouTubes. There were many people there doing interviews and many people giving their opinions on being able to sit down and drive what little content was available for them to test. And I have been going through, and I'm pretty sure at this point I have watched every interview with the devs. I have listened to what everybody had to say about being able to actually get in and test and drive it. And I've just let that stuff kind of fester around in my brain and kind of have come to my final thoughts, views, and opinions on what I'm thinking here and my hopes for the game and stuff like that. So I wanted to make a video about it. And I think that it really has the potential to be a fantastic sim. But I am genuinely, and I'm just being honest, I'm genuinely worried that it's not going to be as successful as the hype would lead to believe. And believe me, I want it to be. I want it to be a next-gen Assetto Corsa 1. But in all the interviews I have been watching, there is one thing that really sticks out. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. And this thing I think is going to be the one thing that could potentially make it not live up to the original Assetto Corsa. And that one thing is modding. And now I know that in many interviews that they have said that there will be modding, but the way that they approach answering those questions, because inevitably everybody in every interview asked them, will there be modding? Will there be modding? Will there be modding? It was a very popular question. And it's not, my concern is the way they were answering it, especially the CEO or the main guys behind the game. Yes, they're going to allow modding, but it seems like it's going to be quite limited in compared to what we're used to with Assetto Corsa 1. In my opinion, now this is all my opinion, guys. Watch other videos, of course. Give your own, come to your own conclusion. Don't just come to your conclusion by watching one or two videos. You really want to talk about it, think about it yourself. But in my opinion, from what I have heard and what I have seen, I think that the modding is going to be severely limited in the way that they're going to implement it in the game. And if you've seen these interviews, I'm sure you probably have the same thoughts. Every time the question was brought up, they keep mentioning licensing. We want to make sure the modders have the tools they need to mod, but also have a way to get the proper licensing channels. Look, I'm all about copyright laws and doing the right thing. But the reason why Assetto Corsa is the first one is as successful as it is because it is so easily accessible to mod and create things. Yes, a lot of them are taking models from other games. And I get it. A lot of people don't think that's okay. But if you do not allow people, I guess my point is this. AC Evo has to be at least as easy and accessible, if not more, to create mods, period, for it to take the player base or some of the player base or any of the player base from AC1 over to AC Evo. It has to be. Let's take the laws and all these rules and regulations out of equation. It has to be. Right now at AC1, someone with no experience in modding can literally hop on YouTube, watch a 30-minute tutorial, and it may not be the best mod, but they can create a mod that they can use in the game, and you can drive anything. And I'll probably be putting up in the corner as I'm talking about this some of the most random and crazy stuff that I have driven in Assetto Corsa that you just can't in other games. And it can just be the most random thing. It just, the combinations of what you can drive, where you can drive in Assetto Corsa, the original, is crazy. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of mods and different vehicles that you can drive in thousands and thousands of different locations, real and fake. And that is the appeal to AC1. And if you don't have that appeal with AC Evo, it's never going to be as successful. And my gut tells me that it's not going to, by what I have been hearing the developers say about how the modding is going to work. I suggest, if you're not familiar with this, go back and watch some of the interviews, specifically one from Gamer Muscle. His was really good. He really was hounding on this. Is there going to be modding? And they kept just kind of trying to go around the bush and say, yes, there's going to be modding, but it's not going to be implemented in the way we know and love it now. Well, my opinion is it needs to be. Again, it needs to be as accessible and as easy as AC1, or it will not, the game will not be as successful. Compound that with, they've already said during release, there's only going to be roughly 20 cars and 5 circuits. Now, one of those circuits is rumored to have an open world environment that you can drive in, which is great. And again, I hope that it's going to be, I hope the game is going to be amazing. But an open world is only so fun if you've got, it's only going to be fun for so long if you've got 20 cars to drive. So there needs to be modding early, and there needs to be easy modding of anything we want to create. Again, I know the rules are important. I get it. But the reason why Assetto Corsa is so damn popular and people still play it to this day more than they ever did before is because of the modding community and the ease of creating mods and, excuse me, the point period that you can drive anything you want, anywhere you want, period. And there is no other game out there like that. Imagine how boring, I know a lot of my viewers actually play the Forza Horizon series. And it is a great game, but imagine how boring that would be if there was only 20 cars. There's no way it would be living as long as it has. You have to have a way to introduce new content. Microsoft has the ability to constantly include new content and have 500 plus cars or whatever the count is to now in the game. A developer like Kunos doesn't have the size or the ability or the resources to include that many cars even in the span of the lifetime of the game. Look at AC1. If you just go through and look at the standard content that is now available with the game all these years later, of course, they stopped development years ago, but still, what is there 100 cars? I don't think so. I think it's probably closer to maybe 30, 40, I'm guessing. Check me in the comments, but it's not that many, and it was over all these years of development. So the only reason that Assetto Corsa is still super, super popular, again, is because of the modding. And that one thing, in my opinion, if they do it wrong, will ruin the success of AC Evo, no matter how beautiful it is visually, no matter how well it drives. Whether it's got open worlds or not, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get people from AC1 to move over to AC Evo if the modding isn't exactly like it is in AC1 or easier, period. And that is my opinion on that. And because of that, I'm a little bit worried about the hype. I'm sure the game is going to release and there's going to be loads of videos about it. I'll probably make some, I'm sure. I'll join the club. But how long will 20 cars and 5 circuits actually be fun? Eventually, you're going to run out of fun with that. Even with a quote-unquote open world map. You have to allow the modding. So I hope that they loosen up. Based on what I've heard so far, what I think is going to happen in this system that's built into the game to allow modders to work with the manufacturers to properly, I guess they're going to have to pay money. That's what it boils down to. You're going to have to pay money to license a vehicle to create a mod. It's never going to work like that, period. You know it. I know it. Most of the modders out there are not going to be able to recuperate or have the money to begin with to buy a Porsche license or whatever, fill in the blank. They're just not going to have the resources to do that, nor are they going to want to. So I implore to the devs of Kunos. I know that you would love for it to work that way. It's not going to work that way. Please listen to the community. Make it easy, as easy to mod as AC1. Allow people to mod whatever they want. And just, if you don't do that, you're going to have a problem. That is my opinion. Now, look, I'm one of millions of people who will probably play the game, and that's just my thoughts, period, right now. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I think that AC EVO is going to be great, but I think it's going to be one of those games that comes in and fizzles away like many others if they don't do the modding right. Assetto Corsa is synonymous with modding. AC EVO needs to have it too. That's it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think. Appreciate it, as always, you listening to the video. If you liked it, please click the like button. Don't forget to drop a sub if you are not. Thanks, and we'll see you next video. Bye.